Well, we're in this very famous Bradgate Park, which is known internationally for its Precambrian rocks. So we only have to go to Old John Tower at the summit to find rocks that are about 560 million years old, with traces of fossils. We don't know whether they are fauna or flora. We don't know whether they were deep sea or shallow sea. We just refer to them as Ediacaran biota. But we're here this week looking at the archaeology lower down from the summit. And that's in a low-lying area, Bradgate Lawns, with the River Lynn running through, and looking for traces of archaeology. One of the interesting problems I don't think has been solved here is the origin of this gorge. It's nicknamed Little Matlock Gorge after its big brother in Derbyshire. And it's not at all clear why the River Lynn takes this very anomalous course through extremely hard rock. We're on diorite. It's an intrusive igneous rock. Again, Precambrian in age, but it runs right across the course of the river, and it's not at all clear why the river would have taken a bend at Newtown, Linford, to pass through this exceptionally resistant rock. So we've been looking at some possible explanations for this, one of which is that there is a fault or a fracture line running through the diorite at this point. We know this from boreholes, but it's largely concealed and you won't see it on geological maps. So work done by John Carney and others in the Groby area have shown very clearly that there were two phases of faulting, which probably date to the Caledonian orogeny, which is about 440 to 420 million years ago, end of the Silurian period. One of those faults, an offset which runs at right angles to the Newton-Linford fault, is what I've termed the Old Wood fault, and it runs almost exactly into Little Matlock Gorge. If you look carefully at some of the exposures of the diorite in the gorge, and you can do this near the Wishing Stone. There's a scar there called Wishing Stone Crag, and there are interesting exposures of the fault lines, and I say fault lines plural because it wasn't one single fault line, it was a whole series of fault lines, a fracture zone which has weakened the rock. And if you look carefully in those exposures there, you will find smooth and striated surfaces which are technically called slicken sides. And if you look particularly closely, you can see that it's quite almost mirror image where two fault blocks have slid past each other. But it's done so in various directions and in various dips and strikes, which makes it a rather complicated picture. But it seems to us that a fault fracture zone is the most likely origin of the River Lynn as it's cut through this hard rock. Subsequent to that, there have been other processes which may have enlarged that valley, particularly during the Triassic, and then most recently during the Quaternary era, when glaciers may have taken a preferential route through the gorge, deepening it, incising it subglacially. And there's a possibility also that water from Lake Harrison may have flushed out the evidence which we're looking for. There are no glacial deposits or Triassic mudstones actually within the gorge. You can find them at the entrance and the exit of the gorge, but none within the gorge itself, which makes it difficult. So at the moment, our guess is that this is a speculation, that this is a fault-guided valley, and it is within this gorge that the Late Upper Paleolithic archaeology has been discovered. The late Roger Jacobi made an interesting point that this could have been a natural line for wild animals to pass through, so easy to intercept them or even to corral them. And so we're now looking for evidence of that hunting activity on Bradgate lawns.